Number one, Borzello's preseason number one team in the country, Kansas Jayhawks. Can Bill Self find the right perimeter combination? I'm going to you first, T.O. If you haven't heard by now, we have partnered with BetMGM Sportsbook. We're going to be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers of the Field of 68 throughout the year. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, you can use bonus code FIELD, and you will get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. The best part, all you need to do is deposit and bet $10 of your own hard-earned money to be eligible. Here's how you make it work. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using that bonus code FIELD. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you will receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure that you use that bonus code FIELD when you sign up. BetMGM is going to have some fun offers available throughout the NBA playoffs. Bet insurance tokens, odds boost, and what I love, a nice parlay boost or two from time to time, as well as a ridiculous array of player prop bets for any sport that you could possibly imagine betting on. BetMGM is and always will be the king of the prop bet. So go download the BetMGM app, use the bonus code FIELD, and sign up today. And while I've got you, a quick request. The best way to support the Field of 68 content that you get for free is to engage with us. Rate and review the podcast. Like and share the YouTube videos. Tell your friends about us. It all helps in a world where the algorithm is king. And now, back to the show.
I think it's going to be hard because they've already had some injuries. That's one of the big things, right? Who was it?
Oh, Marco
Moore
Jackson
broke his foot, and
Yep.
then Marco Jackson obviously had his injury. There's going to be a lot of plug and play, and like let's just see what combinations work out. That's one of the things that's going to, I think, swing this game. But guard depth is going to be huge. They have the ultimate winner, but you need another guy to be able to at least keep the ship afloat while you're there. It's obviously a problem. I think they have too much talent for it to go poorly. And if nothing else, Zeke Mayo could bring the ball up and then turn into a two guard after he lets go of it, much in the same vein as Steph Curry used to do when he was at Davidson, for those that are old like me. So I like that. I think they'll be fine. They're super talented this year, and this is the reason. Bill Self's on a mission. He wanted to get depth, and I think he's going to certainly have that this year.
This is DeJuan Harris, AJ Storr,
Yes.
Zeke Mayo, Rylan Griffin. And this is Bill Self, who's a Hall of Famer. To me, the question isn't whether or not Kansas figures itself out on the perimeter, because I think they do still have a variety of options. There probably is going to be an unhappy camper at some point because you do have more guys than you have minutes and playing time.
Yeah.
But that's part of the game that you play. And when you're Kansas, you can play that game. Like you could have more pieces than you have time available. To me, guys, I want to play devil's advocate to make this have a little bit more impact with Kansas. My question isn't about the perimeter. My question is, can Hunter Dickinson be the leader of a dominant season, of winning, of consistency, of number one caliber play or top three caliber play? Last year, Kansas was not good enough on the defensive end of the floor. I just felt that they didn't have connection, and I felt at times they were dogging it. That's got to change here this year. They got to have a mean streak to them. But to have your point guard back, and guys, AJ Storr was one of the best players in the Big Ten last year. He really was. I mean, and now year three, there's no reason to believe that he's not going to be that good again. And I think Mayo's going to be a perfect fit for what Self wants. And Griffin's been a part of a high-octane offensive system. I don't question Kansas's ability to score. I want to see this team show that they're the best team in the country. And I don't know if they are the best team in the country. In fact, I have more questions still about that than I do with an Alabama. But that's my thought process when I think of Kansas. I'm not questioning their ability to get perimeter play.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I think that with DeJuan Harris, would you call him the ultimate winner, T.O.?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think that he's the kind of guy that that makes everything work around him, right? Because he could do all of the stuff that a lot of these other guys aren't going to want to do when they're kind of wired to score. And you don't really need AJ Score to do much, or AJ Store to do much than go out there and get buckets, right? You don't really need Rylan Griffin to go out there and do much more than like when you're open and you get a look at the rim, like let that thing go, right? That's why he's there. So I do. My biggest question is the Hunter Dickinson thing. I think you're right about that, Fana. Like, is he a winner? Is he a guy that we're going to see him? Because this is what, year 5, right? And has he ever won at the level that maybe we would expect him based off of the accolades that he has gotten? He's had some really good seasons, but he hasn't won quite at that level for a guy that has been like, what is this, like year 3 as a preseason first team All-American? So
Right.
I think it's a big year.
Would argue that since his freshman year at Michigan, like the supporting cast has kind of been up and down.
He did make a second weekend, right?
As a freshman.
As a freshman. I would argue that. Last year's team wasn't necessary. They were pretty thin.
They were.
And they didn't get the performance out of certain guys that they thought they were going to. So I would argue that he's done his part. I think this year you'll see it kind of go over the top.
Yeah, and you know what? I understand that he's kind of like the villain in college basketball. I would like to see him get his flowers and get the success that he's maybe not the credit that he's deserved as a guy that's been like a 4-time All-American.